This is Chris Shoemaker, also known as Yehudim and Shomer, and I play Jeff Sandler on the sitcom Home Accents. And I have an amazing story to tell. Well, actually, I'm not going to tell it. I'm going to have my friend Patty here tell her story. The reason we're doing this video is because when we had the premiere release of the very first episode of Home Accents here at Harvest House Tobic, we got a standing ovation. The house was packed. And a lot of people wanted to come up to us after the show and talk about the show and talk about how it impacted them. And I was just totally blown away and totally amazed by the testimony of this young woman here, how she was drawn to the character of Jeff Sandler. And now that you've seen the very first episode, her testimony is going to make a lot more sense as she tells it. So why don't you just go ahead and give your name?
Okay, my name is Patty. And like Chris said, I just moved here. I related to the character because I did just move here a week before I saw the video. And
now, where did you move from?
Oh, the GTA.
Yeah, Jeff is from the GTA, the Greater Toronto area. Never really been outside of Toronto, and he moves to a sleepy little village called Plastrock. Lo and behold, Patty comes, what would you say, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks now.
From the GTA to Plastrock.
Yeah, it was weird. I thought, how did they know my story and why are they making fun of me? But as it went on, there was so many things that I related to because not only the new city, new province, new culture of the city, the questions and the accents and the humor of just being new here and meeting new people and just the things that God's done since I've been here, the connections that he's putting in place within a short period of time. It's amazing. I didn't know really why I was coming to Plaster Rock, to tell you the truth. I just followed the leading and then I'm finding out as I'm here, within 2 weeks, I'm finding out this and this and this and this and this, all connected to some things that I had previously thought and dreamed back in Ontario. So I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. I feel in place, not out of place. Very short period of time, I'm in place where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, so what are specifically some of the things in the show Home Accents, specifically with the character of Jeff Sandler, that just made you think, how they're reading my mind? You know, how did they know? What just kind of list the parallels and the connections. We've already mentioned the connection with the GTA and coming to Plaster Rock.
Right. Well, the other character, of course, being so funny and different, and maybe from Ontario, we're a little bit more, less laid back, more uptight, maybe. So I related to the strangeness of the other character, and that kind of is how it is here, and I like it. But it's a bit to get used to. The emotional side of Jeff in the video, sorry. The emotional side where he had a little breakdown. Of course, we do that, right? And everything was just so coincidental, so similar to my story. I kept thinking, how do they know me? Like, how do they get my story? They don't know my story.
So you were also mentioning about the end of the show when Jeff is on the bed giving the monologue of you know, why he came to Plaster Rock and how his family and friends just really couldn't understand it. They thought that he was going to some redneck hick town, and they referenced the movie Deliverance. Tell me how that kind of came in.
That is true. Yes, the people who know from Ontario that I'm here are wondering, why am I crazy? Where is that exactly in New Brunswick? Where is New Brunswick again? Really, it's pretty scary. We don't really know our whole country, and I've always felt a little misunderstood anyway, but I fit in here, and I've been very welcomed by the people here. I don't feel like I've made a mistake whatsoever. I've never felt so much peace in my life.
Wow.
As coming here, like, even without having a clue what's going on, don't know anybody yet, I feel peace, like I'm where I'm supposed to be. And more will be revealed as time goes on, but I just feel like the connections that are being made are very, very specific, and I'm just blessed. I feel so blessed that he has had his hand on me. He's directed me. I didn't know the full picture, and I might not have come maybe if I knew the full picture. I don't know. Right. But it's a great adventure that we're on, and I'm just blessed. I feel so blessed. I see his goodness in everything that he's doing. I can see it. My eyes are open now to see how he's just blessing me with things I wasn't expecting. Just by making that move, stepping out and saying, I'm going. I've always wanted to live in New Brunswick. I've never heard of Plaster Rock before. I have family down in the southern part of New Brunswick, but I just was drawn here, and I didn't know why. I just,
Wow.
interesting name, Plaster Rock. I thought, well, on the rock, you know.
Yeah.
Plaster myself on the rock.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, there's probably lots of jokes about Plaster Rock, but
Well, yeah, like in the show, Mickey makes the reference of, like, some people don't call it plaster rock, they call it plastered rock.
Yeah.
And that's like an alcoholic joke. Because,
right,
yeah.
that makes sense.
But, yeah, so, might be getting maybe just a tad bit personal here, and forgive me if I do, but the character of Jeff Sandler, he was recently divorced, and he's going through a midlife crisis. Not saying that you're going through a midlife crisis, but
You could be close.
but Jeff felt the need just to get away. So, as Jeff was a recently divorcee, did you relate to that part of his character as well?
Not recently divorced, but divorced, and I don't feel that I'm running away from. I'm running to the plan of God, and I did relate to the breakdown part, because there is a breaking. There is a breaking, and it's good. It's not something to be feared. It's not something. It's breaking away my thinking, my expectations, my dreams and goals, and saying, okay, whatever I'm supposed to do, God, show me and lead me. And as I prayed that way, that's where things started to fall into place in Plaster Rock.
Yeah, the breaking you mentioned is just brings to mind Psalm 23. A lot of people don't know the backstory to Psalm 23, but if there is a lamb that goes astray, the shepherd does something very bizarre, and a lot of people think it's cruel. He actually breaks the leg of the lamb. There's a breaking,
right?
And people would say, "Oh, that's horrible. That's bad. How could God do that?" But the shepherd takes the lamb, resets the leg, and sets the lamb on the back of the shoulders of the shepherd. For the whole process until that leg is healed. I'm not sure, maybe 12 weeks or more, give or take. And then once the lamb spends so much time with the shepherd, falls in love with the shepherd's heartbeat, and the sheep is totally healed, he puts him down, the sheep never strays again. So that brokenness is kind of the catalyst that draws us closer to God and draws us closer to the plan that He has for our lives. So I just was totally amazed at the end of the preview when this woman came up to me and said, I could relate to so much in the character, in the video, and in the story. I said, you have to tell your story. You have to give your testimony about how this relates, because it's no accident. I would almost be interested in knowing the time that Mike and I thought of this sitcom and the story, and when you were actually thinking about moving to Plaster Rock. So when did you start thinking about moving?
Start thinking about moving probably June.
Okay.
Not that long ago.
Wow, that was fast.
And a lot of people still don't know I'm here. A few people, close friends, know. But June was the starting of it, and then to actually pinpoint the date of Plaster Rock is the city was probably the end of June, I'd say.
Okay.
And here we are, beginning of or middle of August.
Yeah, we actually filmed the episode, I believe, in June, at the end of June. But we actually thought of the episode earlier in the year, I think around March, when we were filming the Dr. Dialect segment of Bruce, the Most Masculine Man, goes to the PBR.
Wow.
And that's kind of, so...
God knew everything. God knew, he foreknew, that just proves he foreknew that you would do this, that it would relate to me, that, it's so personal, like that he would do that. I mean, it's for so many more people.
Right.
But in my heart, to think that he did that for me, little old me. He's got so much to do, right? He's so busy.
Yeah.
But he thought of me and welcomed me that way to this city and confirmed that this is where I'm supposed to be. I mean,
amazing.
It couldn't have gotten more close to the real thing.
Yeah.
Moving my boxes, and I'm like, you could help, That was my sort of attitude, I was walking around in fear a little bit, like, where am I going, and who's going to help me, and all of it I related to.
Well, and since you've been here, you've met some crazy friends, as crazy as Mickey Gainey.
Yes.
But that's a good thing. And just as these two characters couldn't be more polar opposites, God is using these characters in the show as sandpaper to shape and mold the other. And so whoever God brings into your life, He uses to sharpen you, to hone you in and everything. But you mentioned that you don't know much about Plaster Rock, but with Home Accents, there's my little plug for the show. For Home Accents, you're going to learn a whole lot more about Plaster Rock and the surrounding areas. And I was just having a meeting with several people in the village today, regarding future episodes and things that we could put in it. And even, I'm amazed that there's so much material. We don't have to go outside of Plaster Rock to show what's here. I've been introduced to people and projects and art and different work that I never knew existed here. Wow. And people need to know that. I think it would bring people not only to the province but to Plaster Rock, because there's so much more here than just Fiddlers on the Topic and pond hockey once a year.
And the beauty of this place. I mean, you look around and the beauty. I thought the only mountains were out in BC, but there's mountains here, there's hills, there's rivers, it's beautiful.
Waterfalls.
Absolutely beautiful. The birds and everything here are just beautiful. Yeah, the waterfalls, oh my goodness. And a canoe trip, I'm looking forward to a canoe trip.
Yes.
I've never done that before, down a river. I mean, it is kind of like Deliverance, but I feel the peace. The minister that signed me up said, it's going to be peaceful and full of serenity. I said, oh, okay, so not. When I heard that, it was the same day I heard that Deliverance piece, I thought, I'm not sure I should be going on this canoe trip. But just more that it just hit home like, oh my goodness, was he in that church service talking about the canoe trip? It's just weird.
I'm just still blown away by this. So, I hope you, the viewer, enjoy this little behind the scenes little tidbit information of how the actual episode relates to people's lives and how it is touching and changing lives. We really never set out to turn somebody's life upside down. We just wanted to make people laugh and just reinforce positive moral messages. And we wanted to showcase New Brunswick. We had no clue that it would touch individual lives such as Patty's. And thank you so much for your time and for
peace. That's just what he does, though. He brings peace.
Yeah.
He brought me peace. I mean, I was laughing, but I was like, "This is so you, God." The peace that He's with me, and that He even had all this happen.
Yeah.
That's how He works in our life, is to bring peace.
Now, I was close to the front when we were viewing it, and I kind of watched you a little bit, and I saw you laugh, but I also saw you kind of, your eyes, you shook your head, and you were like,
how did they know?
And I'm like, okay, did I offend her? Or little did I know that those scenes where she was just kind of shocked just related to exactly what was going on in her life. It was so amazing.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to add or talk about in regards to the episode and how it related to your life?
Not really specifically. Just that I'm again just so grateful, blessed that God is that big, and yet that small and intimate that He would do that. And I believe He does that with all of us. If my eyes are open and if my ears are open, I see the goodness of God. When I'm shut off and I'm trying to walk alone like that sheep, He has to break the leg to bring me back in, and that's love. And I used to think that was scary, but it's love.
Yeah,
so
sometimes it's tough love, but it's love.
Yeah, it's for all of us too. We're all equally entitled to His love if we open ourselves up to it.
Once again, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to meet with me and to have this interview, and I'm sure that this interview will touch even more lives, just as the first episode touched yours. But guys, thanks so much for watching. Shalom and Shavua Tov.
A pastor and a rabbi walk into a bar.
Beautiful New Brunswick. Be in this place. It's not just the drive-through province anymore.